This is the Kia Niro, and it's Kia's first ever hybrid, and it was designed from the very beginning to be a hybrid. So a lot of companies, they just have a car that they then put a hybrid powertrain in, whereas Kia, they decided to do it properly and start with a blank sheet of paper and design it to be a hybrid right from the off. It's got an electric motor and a lithium-ion battery pack and a 1.6 litre petrol engine. So total horsepower, it's got 149 horsepower and 195 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 is 11 seconds and the top speed is 101 miles an hour. Now 0 to 60 in 11 seconds isn't fast, but it's kind of what you'd expect from a family crossover like this. And I never get bored of the silence and stillness from an electric motor. It's a bit dangerous at times because I don't think pedestrians are still ready for the concept of an electric car, because people walk out without looking with their eyes and they rely on the sound of cars. So as a driver, you need to be quite aware that you're not going to hit someone because they'll walk out and they can't hear you. But I always find the silence from an electric car really quite cool. There's something sci-fi about it that I just enjoy, and other people as well, people that have ridden in this car, find it quite cool being able to set off and there's no noise. Fuel economy wise, Kia reckon it will get about 74 miles to the gallon. I've been getting about 50, between 50 and 60, but I haven't been driving on an economy run. I've just been driving like I would any other car when I'm not really conscious of, trying to save fuel. And it has still been getting 50, 55 miles a gallon. If you really, really concentrated, turn the heaters off, did all that normal stuff, close the windows, 74 miles a gallon seemed really achievable. The engine itself, the 1.6 litre engine, is a bit noisy and doesn't make a particularly nice noise, but I can't explain enough how nice it is that the engine is connected to a normal gearbox. It's connected to a 6-speed double clutch gearbox compared to what most electric cars have, which is a CVT gearbox, a constant variable transmission. And CVTs, they always bring out the worst in engines, I find, because they get to a certain revs and they just hold it there. Whereas because this is a double clutch, the revs rise and fall like they would on a normal gearbox, because it is a normal gearbox, and it's just such a nicer driving experience because of it. The Niro handles really quite well actually, particularly at high speed. There's not very much roll, and the steering, again particularly at high speed, is quite sharp and quite fast, so little inputs, you get a response. Because the electric motors pull energy from the brakes and recharge the batteries, you've got to get the calibration spot on for the pedal to still feel like a normal brake pedal. This it isn't calibrated quite right, I don't think, because you don't know how much braking force you're going to get from the pressure you're putting on it. So not only is the pedal quite heavy, but you don't know how hard you're braking effectively. So I found myself a couple of times just having to rely so much more on my eyes than what I can feel through the brake pedal, and it's really not a very nice feeling. The Niro is quite an attractive looking car, I have to say. This paint looks pretty good as well. And inside, it's standard Kia really. Everything's logically laid out. It's quite dark. You get some really cool dials and displays that kind of show you what the hybrid system is doing. So you've got a 7-inch kind of touch screen and navigation thing, and then between the speedo and a gauge that says charge, eco and power, you get a little screen that shows you what the engine and the hybrid powertrain are doing. So you can see when the engine is powering the wheels and charging the batteries. You can see when the batteries are the only thing driving the wheels. And you can see when you put your foot down that the engine and the batteries are both working together to power the wheels and get you down the road as fast as possible. Now you can get a Niro for about £21,000, and the top of the range models are 26,000 thereabouts and above. This one is a Niro 2, so it's kind of the second model up, and it's £22,740. I think for that kind of money, it seems like really good value. You're getting quite a lot of tech, and hybrid tech wise, not just interior gizmos. This is a lot of car for the money actually, in a car that's really comfortable, apart from the brake pedal, drives really well, and it's got loads of space. still think the brake pedal is the main thing that lets it down. And I know that sounds like something that's really insignificant, but just because you've got a family car doesn't mean you don't enjoy driving. And for me, that pulls back on the driving experience a little bit. I don't like it. But if you just want a hybrid family car, 22,000 for this seems like quite a good value.